I hope everything is well and good with you. Today I have two very special guests with me, student minister Nuri Muhammad and his beautiful wife, Sister Terri Muhammad. I am really excited to have these two on this video, doing this interview for you all. A lot of the different things that I talk about on here, I've actually learned from lectures and articles that I've studied from you all. So I'm really happy for you to get it from the source. I wanted to make a point about stepping out on faith. Literally, I have wanted to do something like this before, but I just randomly one day, I just put it on my heart. It was like, you know what? You need to stop just thinking about it. You need to put it out there. And so I just randomly tweeted all of the people that I would hope to interview one day. And I wasn't necessarily expecting an answer back, but Brother Nuri did. And so I'm really happy that it worked out like that. I thank you all for being so open and always being ready to support us, as young people.
I think I speak for my wife when I say this, that we are so proud of the strength that you have been exhibiting over the years that we've been watching you.
Yes, ma'am.
And whenever you put the request for the interview, the answer was emphatically yes.
That's right.
Because you are at the height or the climax of the most difficult and challenging time of human development, which is that time going into adulthood. You are managing the storm so well and navigating through it that we're honored to be here with you. So.
What is the difference between love and lust? How do you know when you have love or lust for someone, and how would you know if someone truly has love for you or only has lust for you?
So I think that, of course, lust is the inappropriate desire for the opposite sex that has a motive to satisfy a low desire, while love for will be an attraction that comes from Allah, male and female, as He tells us in the Holy Quran. I've placed between you love and attraction. However, when you are rooted in love as your magnetism, you are being drawn toward a person not for the satisfaction of low desires, but for the establishment of a relationship in marriage, you hope. And in that sense, marriage is a holy alliance. It is a sacred union. It's a covenant connection. And in it being that, love would be more godly, while lust would really be more toward the low desires.
And I would also add to with, we kind of briefly touched on it earlier today. With God, God is love. And so you can always use as a rule of measure whether someone is coming with you with lust or if someone is coming with you in sincere love. Because when you see love, like my husband said, it's godly. Love is good. Love, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is the force that God uses. So it's a great force that creates goodness. There's creativity in love. It's the greatest force. So
you see, you can't fall in love. You can fall in lust. So love, if God is love, and one of His attributes is our Ali, the Most High God, you don't fall into love. You come up into love. You grow into love. So anytime that a person is spontaneously with a strong magnetism toward a person of the opposite sex, and they say, I think I just fell in love. No, you just fell in lust. So you can't fall into love, because love is God and God is the Most High. You got to climb up into love.
And love is pure.
I have noticed in terms of relationships, when I hear girls speak, they talk about love and desiring a long-standing, serious relationship, and boys typically don't speak the same way. I'm in high school, and the fact that I don't have a boyfriend nor desire one is a very unpopular thing, which brings a lot of questions. When asked, I explain that I desire to court, as opposed to dating, because I want real love and marriage, as opposed to frivolous dating. Girls always find this beautiful and very attractive, while guys typically find it stupid and unrealistic. They are not overall bad guys, but for some reason they just seem at our age to be very uninterested in having real love. Why is that? Why do girls and guys have such different desires as it relates to relationships?
Well, as a general rule, men men have been given a stronger attraction to the female than the female has been given to the male. And the reason that is because somebody in the dynamic had to be the initiator of the relationship. And whoever is the initiator of the relationship is trying to seek what is the most important part of the relationship, which is the woman. So it is the man that has to come down on one knee and propose. It is the man that opens the door. It is the man that has to receive the hand. It's the man that he has the responsibility of being the initiator of a relationship. So because of that, there is a natural attraction female to male, male to female, but the one from male to female is stronger so that he could be the initiator of the relationship. What of course happens in this world is that Satan corrupts everything. So, here it is, a great created by Allah to provide energy, nutrients. But what does the devil say? You know what? I believe if I smash this thing and let it ferment, the same grape that God created for life and energy, now he turns it into alcohol that intoxicates. Here's the atom. That's the basic unit of life. Instead of using the atom for positive, you know what? I can make a bomb out of this. So that's the math that he does. He turns everything good into a bad. So with the male attraction to the female, instead of using that as the force that drives us to earn a woman and to initiate a relationship, now it becomes a means of trying to be a hunter for the sake of sex. So what happens in relationships, unfortunately, is that men will use love to get sex, and women will use sex to get love. Both of them are the wrong math. Problem though, a man that's using love to get sex is faking. He's faking like he really loves you just so he can get what he wants. Now he gets it, it's gone, but you damaged psychologically and emotionally forever. But when the woman, uses the sex to get love, she finds out that it doesn't get her love either. So it's just a bad situation for the sisters in that position. So it's better to do as you do. Let them know, I'm on standby. I got too many hopes, aspirations, and dreams and visions right now. I'm married to my mission. I'm married to my purpose for living. And I believe that when it's time, I'll be looking for a real relationship with somebody that's going to be my partner for the rest of my life.
Thank you. As young people, we appear to be obsessed with the idea of love. There is a huge interest in having a first love, young love, soulmate, etc. There is a huge ideal that you can find real and true love at a young age. If you graduate from high school or even college without having found that one, then you are extremely strange and something is considered wrong. Do you think something is wrong? Is it very likely that at a young age we will actually find true love?
I think that is the percentages show it's unlikely that you'll find love in a high school in a young age, such as yourself and that age peer group, only because the morals have declined so greatly, in particular in this country. So we're not being directed towards God. We're being directed towards satisfaction of lust and desire. We're not being taught on the proper relationship, which is a relationship with God first.
Mm-hmm.
And so in doing that, we tend to use relationships and we feel in a void where God is supposed to be present.
Right.
And then we end up becoming polytheists, if you will. We worship that boy or that girl, that man and that woman and then the relationship is it becomes inappropriate. It doesn't last because it's not built on a solid foundation, which is God.
I would say too, to add to that is that there's a statistic that has been done by one of the abstinence groups where they found that 97% of everybody that not only had what you call a high school sweetheart or puppy love, however they word it, but this was somebody that when they were with them, they in their mind knew that this was going to be my wife or husband. 97% of the time, but guess what? 97% of the time, they didn't make it. They don't make it. So, if somebody gave you the odds that it's a 3 out of 100 chance that if you give yourself over to this relationship and be with this person, it's only a 3 to 100 chance that this is going to be the man you're going to be with. That's bad math. I mean, a man wouldn't even play the lottery with them kind of odds. So, I would say, for those that are being tempted in this world, opportunity may only knock once, but temptation leaves on the doorbell, especially for young people. So I would say study the statistics for abstinence. And when you study those who kept their virtue and virginity and waited till they got married versus those who didn't, they make more money, they achieved higher education, they have better peace of mind, better health. Every statistic that's most important about life, you find that a person that stayed a virgin or kept their virtue until marriage, they have a much more happier and peaceful life. So it kind of, you got to go at this thing scientifically to check them emotions. The emotions are real, but you got to bring them under your control.
I know many of my subscribers have personally shared that they have decided to embrace abstinence and are waiting for courtship as opposed to dating. Choosing to stand firmly on this principle in a world that does everything to rip that innocence away at times can be difficult. Do you have any encouragement you can share that we can use to remember when we have those moments of temptation?
Well, feelings are not facts. See, God gave emotions to us. He didn't give us to emotions. So we're supposed to rise above emotions to the thinking of God. We're supposed to control them, not let them control us. So what we found by studying statistics is that the average life expectancy of an urge is only 14 minutes. That's it, 14 minutes. So if you can discipline yourself, no matter whether it's hunger, I'm talking even crack cocaine. The urge for crack lasts 20 minutes. So when you do the average of 14 minutes, just whatever I'm feeling, all I got to do is check this thing for 14 minutes. And if I can do that, then I'll have control over it. What people don't do, as soon as they get the feeling, they look at something, listen to something, or talk to somebody that is going to feed what they're feeling instead of going opposite of that. And I think that would be a good,
think about, just
and
like
then, and you check yourself with, self-talk. Feelings are not facts. God gave me emotions, not me to emotions. I'm to control them, they're not to control me. And then 14 minutes, I can do this. And then every time you do anything in any way, and it gets easier and easier every time you do it till it requires no conscious effort. Eventually, you'll have a mastery over lust, which means that you don't even have to think about it no more. You already got it in check.
And also in controlling sexual urges, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us to fast. It's a great prescription for those who want to get that under control. It suppresses those urges, and the more that we fast, the more we suppress it, the more self-mastery we're gaining.
And fasting, of course, as you said earlier, is not just abstaining from food. Sometimes you got to abstain from some of these songs.
Right.
Very
important.
Oh my God.
Fast from certain TV shows. Because these songs these people are lying in these songs. They have you all messed up, thinking that it's all right. to be whatever it is you want to be. And because, Sister Alima, that the first form of learning, the matter of fact, the best form of learning for a human being is through music. That's why when we first learned our ABCs, how did we learn? Because music is the number one natural teacher of us. So what's happening whenever the enemy takes our artists that have the skill they have with these really almost perfect beats and takes their talent married with a perfect beat and has them expressing vulgarity, because it's the primary number one way natural for learning music is we become easily programmed. And the next thing you know, we're listening to a song trying to reenact it in the real world. So fasting is not just abstaining from food for a few days, but say, you know what, I'm going 30 days without listening to no music. I'm gonna go 2 weeks without watching certain types of programs. Matter of fact, I'm turning the whole TV off for a month. And you'll find that, you know what, some of these feelings I had, they weren't my own. I was borrowing these feelings from Nicki Minaj, and was loaning me these feelings. These aren't mine. These are something that came from a song.
So thank you.
Thank you.
I pray that the answers were of help to you, and that we can use these tips and strategies, I guess you could say, or self-talk to overcome, the obstacles and difficulties that are inevitable, that are on our way to our journey with God, to become one with Him. All of these are destined to be here. So whenever we can learn more about how to deal with them is always a good thing. So pray you well, and I will see you, God willing, in our next video.